Hey, thanks for making this Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. We have another piece of legislation, bipartisan, being introduced out of the Senate, and I wanted to bring that to your attention so you're aware. If you support it, you should reach out to your congressional elected officials and let them know that you support whatever this is. This is directly from the U.S. Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs, and again, it's a bipartisan bill. I want to introduce it to you. So please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Every thumbs up and every person that lets this video runs helps to put it in the hands of others, and I really appreciate all of you. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. You can do that by going to the home page, and you will see highlighted members and a join button there. Thanks so much. I really appreciate all you members, subscribers, viewers, thumbs uppers, all that good stuff. All right, so let's jump into it. The headline here from the U.S. Senate is Tester Cassidy introduced bipartisan bill to cut red tape on trucking apprenticeship programs for veterans. Look, not everybody wants to be a trucker. I get it. Don't stop watching because, look, if you support this for your fellow vets who are trying to get into trucking, who maybe they drove big trucks in the military, make it easier for them to get a trucking job, probably through this legislation. So it just makes sense, and you taking 5 minutes out of your time to reach out and support it would help out our brothers and sisters who want to get into that field. So let's jump into it a little further here. Senators, Veterans Transition to Trucking Act would make it easier for veterans to use their VA benefits to access interstate trucking apprenticeships. This just came out Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, and I wanted to share it with you today. I'm going to dive into it now. Senate Veterans Affairs Committee Chairman Jon Tester and U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy are introducing bipartisan legislation today to make it easier for veterans to use their VA benefits to access trucking apprenticeship programs. The senators Veterans Trucking, or no, excuse me, let's start over. The Senators Veterans Transition to Trucking Act. That's the name of the act. The Senators Veterans Transition to Trucking Act. It's kind of a tongue twister, actually. Would cut bureaucratic red tape currently making it more difficult for veterans to utilize trucking apprenticeships that would operate across multiple states and allow the Department of Veterans Affairs to approve programs operated by interstate commercial trucking companies. There's a quotation here. Truckers and transportation workers fuel our economy, and we've got to be doing everything we can to bring more qualified truckers into the fold, including our nation's veterans, said Chairman Tester. Our common sense bill will cut bureaucratic red tape and ensure veterans looking to use their VA education benefits to access trucking apprenticeships can more easily do so. Let's help veterans any way in which we can, said Dr. Cassidy. Having a commercial driver's license is a great career. Let's make sure veterans know about it. Trucking companies currently operating in more than one state must get approval from each state to allow veterans to use their VA education benefits for apprenticeship programs with their company. In some cases, these companies have opted out of offering apprenticeships for veterans due to the burdensome red tape requirement to get more than 20 different approvals. The Veterans Transition to Trucking Act would allow interstate commercial carriers to get one approval for their apprenticeship programs for VA, or from VA rather, making it easier for veterans to access trucking apprenticeship programs. Veteran service organizations and stakeholders support the Senator's legislation or legislative effort to streamline VA's approval process for trucking companies offering apprenticeships to veterans, including the Disabled American Veterans, the DAV, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, and the American Trucking Association, the ATA. DAV knows that veterans' transition to civilian life is not complete until they can find meaningful employment. With many veterans being drawn to the trucking industry, it's important that our nation eases the pathway for them to acquire a commercial driver's license, said the DAV National Commander Nancy Espinoza. That's why DAV fully supports the Veterans Transition to Trucking Act, as it would allow the VA to approve apprenticeship programs operated by interstate commercial carriers, thereby providing disabled veterans their opportunity to obtain a commercial driver's license and overcome their employment barriers. We applaud Senator Tester and Senator Cassidy's leadership in introducing this important legislation to help veterans secure meaningful employment while also addressing the national trucking shortage and strengthening our supply chains. The VFW supports the Veterans Transition to Trucking Act to allow VA to approve apprenticeship programs operated by interstate commercial carriers, said VFW Deputy Legislative Director Christina Keenan. Currently, these trucking companies must get their programs approved by the state approving agency for each state in which they operate, creating a burden that is leading some to opt out of the GI Bill program completely. Allowing one approval for each school could ensure that student veterans are able to use their earned benefits to obtain the training for high demand jobs. The VFW thanks Senators Tester and Cassidy for introducing this legislation. The ATA thanks Senators Tester and Cassidy for introducing this common sense solution that will make it easier to stand up apprenticeship programs for our nation's veterans, said ATA Senior Vice President of Legislative Affairs Henry Hanscom. America's trucking industry needs drivers, and making it easier for men and women who have served our country to enter fulfilling careers in trucking is a win-win. ATA supports this legislation and looks forward to working with Congress to enact these bipartisan reforms into law. The last quotation here, MTA and LMTA are grateful to see bipartisan legislation proposals that will make it easier for veterans to enter the trucking workforce in Montana, Louisiana, and nationwide, said Renee Amar, Executive Director of the Louisiana Motor Truck Association, that's the LMTA, and Dwayne Williams, CEO of the Montana Trucking Association, the MTA. It is vitally important that we make it easier for these service members who have safeguarded our freedoms to have a job or to have job training opportunities and stable careers in dynamic industries like trucking when they return home. We support this legislation and look forward to working with our Federation partners to encourage its passage by Congress. So, with that, thank you so very much for watching. I think this is a great piece of legislation, way too burdensome, way too cumbersome, and way too much red tape. Make it a one-shot, one-kill, easy process for the industry to be able to get veterans onboarded, and this is a great way to do it. So if you support it, it doesn't matter if you're into trucking or not, support it for our brothers and sisters who are. This is specific to them. I thank you so much for watching. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.